Hey guys, and welcome to my review of the Monuments to an Elegy album by the Smashing Pumpkins. Well, I reviewed two of the songs before from this album, and I wasn't too impressed by them for some reason. Um, then I got the whole album, and I realized that this album is made by Billy in a way to keep up with the times and really try to make a comprehensive in the now current album. And at first, when I was listening to this album, I thought it was so. It was a bit. It wasn't compromised, but it was comprimed. It was. It was short. It was to the point. So much that it, to me, first felt a little forced. But as I listened to it more and more, the tracks that I didn't really dig from before, the first single being Beige and One and All, grew a lot in the context of the album. And I'm gonna start off with the first track on this album. It's called Tiberius, which is probably the weakest track on the album. It's proggy. It's kind of interesting in parts. The parts don't really work for me. I don't really like this track that much. It's more interesting than good. Then you have the single being Beige, which is a track that has merits from other bands, but it's very direct and it's a beautiful melody. So it's gonna grow on you. I had problems with the drum machine at first. Now I don't think about it, because this is kind of what Billy does. He makes you resent something, and then he, after a few listens, you will get the picture. That's probably the best way I can explain it, because I'm now a fan of this track. Then you have the track Anais, which is also very strong. The synthesizers are very original. It's a really cool original track. It has a great punch. It's very direct. Makes me think of Siamese Dream a bit, because this album is in a way a Siamese Dream for 2014-15, because it's so direct and Billy has really tried to do something current. And with that in mind as being the plan, I really respect this song a lot. One and All is a good track as well. It's a grower as well. It's gotten way better with a few listens, and I think it's even stronger than the first single being Beige to me personally. It kind of resembles a bit some Suede lyrics though that kind of makes me cringe. But if you listen to it without thinking about that, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's just here, for me. Then you have the beautiful Run to Me, which is fantastic. Only bad thing I can say about that album is, of course, the Drove All Night similarities. I mean, at first you laugh about it a bit that it's so similar in concept to that song by Cyndi Lauper, I think. I don't know if she did the original, but I've listened a lot to that song as well. Run to Me is probably my favorite track on this album. For some reason it really works for Billy nowadays, working with synthesizers a lot, and the best two tracks on Oceania were also synthesizer based for some reason and really worked. Maybe it feels fresh in some way. I mean, he's been using them for years. He used them on his older albums as well, so it's nothing new. But this song feels really fresh to me. Then you got Drum and Five, which is pretty repetitive but still very good. It has this key part that is amazing with I don't know if it's strings or what it is, but the strongest part of the song is used pretty seldomly, which gives it great dynamics. Monuments, I think, is also one of the weaker tracks on the album. I kind of rated with Tiberius as one of my least favorite tracks. I've given it many chances, and it hasn't really done anything for me yet. Dorian is a strange track. It's like sometimes I listen to it and I kind of dig it, and sometimes I listen to it and I think it's just yuck. I don't like it at all. And same goes for some of the tracks on the last album. I mean, there were some tracks that really didn't work for me, but it was still a really strong album. I mean, the thing is, people complain about the album Zeitgeist a lot. I love that album, and people complain about Oceania less, and I love that album as well. So it's kind of hard for me with all the critique, because I mean the band is tighter, Billy is singing better. I mean, some of the ideas may not be as cutting edge as the '90s albums' ideas. Sure, I mean those albums are classics, but these aren't bad albums. This trilogy of albums that has come out, and he's also done some EPs before that I also thought was in part very strong, in part very strange. So I wouldn't say that the album material that they do now is weak, and I would absolutely say that this is the strongest of these three albums for me personally. So I'm going to finish off with the song Anti-Hero now, which is a very direct track as well. The first times you hear the chorus, you kind of laugh about it. It's a bit, the melody felt a bit silly to me. Some of the lyrics felt a bit silly to me as well, but I think I don't think it's done tongue-in-cheek either. I just think he wanted to write from another perspective than himself, maybe. I don't really know. Cringe at some of the lyrics in this one, but I think as a song, it really rocks. It's one of the strongest tracks on the album, and I rate it high with up there with Run to Me and One and All, and I'd say it's one of the stronger tracks on the album. It's a cool closer. Another cool thing is when you put on the album, it sounds like it's the end of a song, which is kind of funny, and the fact that it's 9 tracks it kind of feels like Victory by Jackson's or something. It's like a very, very, very direct album. It almost doesn't feel like an album. It's like, because you run through it really fast. It's super direct. And in this era of downloading and singles and Spotify lists, I mean, I think Billy has done his best to be in the current. And I see other reviews for this album, and they give it kind of a low score, or an average score. Most of them are 3 or 5 or 5 out of 10. But I think this album is way better than that. I'm gonna rate this 4 out of 5, because I really think he tried to do something great this time, and for that I gave him all the credit in the world.